that this is a brand new form factor and it's going to get brand new attention. The screen is huge. For reading, it's unbelievable. Surprisingly one-handed usage as well. In the camera department, it's a huge viewfinder. That's what it is. It performs like your other Galaxy flagship devices. It's got the multi-lens setup with the zoom. There is a benefit to taking a photo with a large screen device, and that benefit is you have this really big opportunity for composition. As you can see, performance is Galaxy S10 caliber. Now, watching video, it's another area where this thing shines. You flip this into landscape mode and you just have a gigantic display. The closest thing I can relate it to is like an iPad mini. It's lighter and the bezels are more slender than your average tablet. The display, obviously, it's got this crease in the middle. It's fairly evident. Everybody notices it. And they ask me how offensive. Time to say goodbye. Well, you've seen a lot of videos on this device right here, and I hear you back. I see the comments, it's a Galaxy Fold. It keeps talking about the Galaxy Fold. I mean, let's be honest though, this is kind of the most interesting. It's the hottest thing to happen in tech in a very long time. But unfortunately today, that coverage ends. Of course, along the way, there were problems, there were reports, there were screen issues. You saw it all. It happened in the news. I talked about it extensively over on the Lou Later channel. There was an official statement from Samsung and an official delay of launch. It's just been such a hot topic. Yes, according to Samsung, this device is not ready for prime time, but that doesn't change the fact that I've really kind of enjoyed interacting with it because it is such a fresh form factor. I'm glad that people didn't go out and spend their $2,000 on it only to be met with issues like some of the reviewers that got this device were met with. So I think Samsung made the right move here, but unfortunately that means even my device has to go bye-bye now. I received an email this morning that there's no special circumstance here in which I can keep my SIM card in this device. This one has to go back. Samsung claims they're gonna tweak it. They're going to deliver something back that I can officially review when they have improved the durability of the device and definitely at least change the instructions in the package regarding this screen protector that seemed to pose so many problems. But in the meantime, I thought before I hand this thing back, before I slip the SIM card out of here, I should do sort of a quick review. So I've been using it for 7 or 8 days. Now, usually I'd like to use these for 2 weeks, but this one, I'm forced to expedite the process up until this point, and you can't really consider this an official review because Samsung has said they're gonna redo something, and then that will be the device that I eventually review. But anyhow, first things first, what you're gonna notice if you do ever get one of these devices in your hand is that it's different out in public, especially it's different. You pop this open in various circumstances, you're getting a little extra attention. Flipping the screen, closing the screen, you're kind of like, hey, what is that thing? So you got to be comfortable with the fact that this is a brand new form factor and it's going to get brand new attention. The screen is huge. For reading, it's unbelievable. Surprisingly one-handed usage as well. In the camera department, it's a huge viewfinder. That's what it is. It performs like your other Galaxy flagship devices. It's got the multi-lens setup with the zoom. There is a benefit to taking a photo with a large screen device, and that benefit is you have this really big opportunity for composition. As you can see, performance is Galaxy S10 caliber. Now, watching video, it's another area where this thing shines. You flip this into landscape mode and you just have a gigantic display. The closest thing I can relate it to is like an iPad mini. It's lighter and the bezels are more slender than your average tablet. The display, obviously, it's got this crease in the middle. It's fairly evident. Everybody notices it. And they ask me how offensive it is. I think it's the kind of thing that at first glance, it's all you can see. And then over time, less so. Kind of like the notch on phones. I think the same is true of the crease. You pop open Google News over here. It's a beautiful experience. It's a nice experience. The other thing that surprised me interacting with the device, how you can just one-handed that action there is somewhat addictive. The exterior display was also, it was a point that people, wanted to talk about. It's small, it's unusual for this era. The keyboard, obviously, it's small. I'm still not really used to it. Mostly, I'm compelled to get to the inside screen wherever possible. Well, it's like a tablet. It's like a lighter tablet. You don't mind typing. You have the split keyboard. The speakers are great for multimedia as well. That's convenient because then you can charge other things up with this brick in your bag. I got to thinking about this device and wondering if it's a foldable phone or a foldable tablet. I couldn't figure that out because the way that you will generally interact with it, it seems more like a tablet. Battery life was good on here. I don't really like the button layout. I find myself frequently hitting the fingerprint button inadvertently. It launches Bixby by default. Again, not a fan. But you can reconfigure it to launch something else, at least on single click. They're just very close to one another. I don't know, maybe this could be moved down. My feeling is they're probably going to do some kind of slight tweak. And then also change the documentation that comes in a box relating to how to treat this display and what to expect from a durability perspective. And the biggest downside to me is the feeling you have around the device and how you treat it. Just feeling the need to baby it, because you kind of, like, it moves around a little bit, you know? It's got this hinge, and you're aware of it. Subconsciously, you put your hands on it, you're kind of like, I gotta take care of this. Like, I feel a bit weird throwing it in the pocket, and it just feels fancy. It feels kind of like jewelry. It feels fragile, to be honest. I don't want to drop any smartphone, but I especially don't want to drop this smartphone. And I felt that way, not just because of the price tag, but because it's like your brain picks up on this aspect that things are moving about and there's clicking. You kind of feel less casual about your interaction with the device. Another downside, I showed you in the case video, yeah, there is a case for it, but it ain't gonna do much. So if you are a clumsy person, this phone's probably gonna be a disaster for you. So there's certain people with certain lifestyles or certain employment that this phone also is not going to make sense for. I still think it's kind of a luxury device, whether we like it or not. The longer that I use this thing, the more I realize that it's a new thing and not necessarily a replacement for smartphones. I don't think the world is really ready to switch over to this, and I'm not even sure that Samsung's ready to deliver it. But anyhow, this phone, it's got to go back. Those are my thoughts up until this point. It's an impossible phone to recommend. And to be honest, that's how most of my conversations have gone with people out in the real world, not here on YouTube, not in the comments section. Your conversation quickly progresses to this very practical territory. As a person in this position here, I take the responsibility very seriously. I really don't want somebody to buy something they're not going to be happy with. And in most of those interactions that I had out in the real world, I said, this probably ain't the thing for you. But it's very unfortunate that it also can't be for me right now because I'm having fun with it. So anyhow, let's go ahead. Let's pop this SIM card out. That's my SIM card. Boom. It's out of the phone. Oh, I got to put it in another phone. The only fair thing to do at this point, since this is kind of unprecedented, when the SIM card went in, usually I use a phone longer than that. I got to send it back to you guys. Which phone should I switch to now that the fold is being collected officially by Samsung, sent back? What would you all like to see? I'll evaluate anything. Choose your own adventure. What is this? This is like tech Bandersnatch. I'm going to use a new phone. Put it in the comments. Could be anything. You could even write iPhone.